Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video showing you how I do my temporary tattoos. The first thing you want to do is decide what your design is and print it out on a sheet of paper. And you'll need a ballpoint pen. The reason I print it out on a sheet of paper is I can then turn the paper over, hold it up against a window, and trace the image with a ballpoint pen. And I'll have a mirror image, which is really important, especially if you're having writing or something and you want it to go the right way. Then you're going to need some speed stick deodorant. I've tried other kinds of deodorant, they do not work, so make sure you get this specific kind. It's just regular speed stick. It's kind of like a green gel consistency. And then you're going to need a wet cloth or a wet paper towel. Basically the same consistency of wetness that you would use if you were applying a temporary tattoo. So go ahead and grab those things so that you have them ready to go. Once you have your deodorant and your wet cloth ready to go, you're going to want to take your design that you've traced over with a ballpoint pen and cut it out. Use a ballpoint pen, it works best. I've tried using like a felt tip marker or permanent marker. They just don't transfer well onto the skin. So go ahead and cut this out. And one of the other benefits of tracing it on the back side of a printed paper is that when you lay it down on your skin, you're going to be able to see exactly where you want the image to lay. So there's no guessing when you're lining it up. Take the area of skin that you want to apply the tattoo to and liberally apply the deodorant. Now as you can see here, I've already drawn on a couple others. The big like paisley design was done with a stencil, and the bird was just done freehand, which is why it looks a little weird. If you have any questions about whether or not this is actually waterproof, you're going to find out in just a second that it really is. When you apply the tattoo, make sure you have deodorant covering all of the places where it's going to be. So you see I'm going back and adding a little more just to make sure. Without the deodorant, the ink won't transfer onto your skin. So go ahead and lay your stencil down, ballpoint pen side against your skin, and then get that wet, just like you would apply a temporary tattoo. As you can see, my cloth is pretty wet there, and when I lay it down on top of the ones that I've already done, they're not going to run at all, so you don't need to worry about that. This is completely waterproof. I obviously haven't tried going like swimming or something with it, but for like everyday wear it stays in place really well. And I'll link the products that I'm using down in the description below. So get it really, really wet. The paper that you've drawn on with the ballpoint pen needs to be soaked. So you see I'm going to take a little more water and go in and make sure it's nice and wet and getting transferred very well. Once you have it all wet there, go ahead and you'll see I'll press down really firmly just to make sure that it's all put into place. And so far these are all things that you should just have laying around your house, except for the deodorant. You might need to go buy that, but it's a pretty inexpensive way to put a stencil down. And the ballpoint pen won't show underneath the eyeliner, and it'll fade really well after like a day or so. So as you can see, now we have a stencil there. The tattoo says, "Hey Jude, let it be," which is a reference to the Beatles, obviously. Alright, now you're ready for step 2 of the design. So you're going to want to get your eyeliner, your brush, and your translucent powder. Now you can see here where the design has already been traced onto my arm. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a very fine tip black eyeliner and trace over that to give it the inked appearance that you see on the designs that are already drawn. The eyeliner I'm using here is the Sephora brand black felt tip eyeliner. This is by far the best. It's $14, which is a little expensive for an eyeliner, but totally worth it in my opinion. I've tried several brands. This one is definitely the most waterproof. It comes in a wide variety of colors, so you don't always have to do black and white all the time. I'll make a video kind of showing how I color in tattoos at some point in time. You can see the bird right next to where I'm writing has some purple and some blue in it, a little bit of white also. There's a Maybelline eyeliner, I'll link in the description below, that you can get like at the drugstore for like $6, which is pretty good, but not quite as good as the Sephora one in my opinion. So after I'm done tracing here, what we're going to do is we're going to put some powder on top of the eyeliner in order to set it. What I'm using in this video is actually just a sample of a white like setting powder that you would use like on your face. I actually prefer to use a tan or a skin tone foundation powder. Most of the time it'll give you a little more of a realistic effect. If you have real tattoos or you've ever looked at anybody's tattoos, there's a layer of skin that grows over top of the ink. And so the tan foundation powder usually gives a little more of a realistic experience, but only if someone's like looking at your arm or wherever you put the tattoo super close. A white powder will be fine. Whatever you decide to use, just make sure it's a matte foundation powder. You don't want anything shiny or anything sparkly because obviously tattoos are not shiny or sparkly, and so that will take away from the realistic effect of it. Obviously you can do that if you want, it just won't look realistic. So put the powder down, set it in, brush off the excess, and you're all done. So you can see, despite all the water I used to put that stencil on, the other ones I had already drawn are still perfectly in place. And this Always No Hope is a real tattoo. So you can see when I hold the two next to each other, they really look pretty much the same, especially from a distance. So have fun!